Okay, that's the upper ball joint on an 87 Toyota pickup with dual rear tires. You can see the fitting right, well, the plug right there. That's where we put the zerk fitting so that we can get some lube in these joints, this joint here. You can see how with 114,000 miles on the truck, how flat this is. And I figured it's a good idea to get some grease in there. So there it is with the zerks put in it, and I put about 8 pumps of grease in it. You can see that it's started to bulge out a little bit, but it hasn't bulged out enough, and you certainly don't want to rip that boot. Zerks are just another name for grease fittings. This is 6 millimeter by 1. That's the thread pitch. And there it is on the bottom. I have to throw, you can see the little, right there's the little plug. And we have to, and this is looking from the back towards the front. And we have to throw a zerks in there. So there we go. The bottom zerks is in, zerk fitting, and put about 6 pumps of grease in there. And you can see that little boot's stretched out a little bit, but not too far. That's a little metal slide for the steering stop, and that's the little, this is looking from the front, more or less, and that's the head of the bolt that usually has a plastic cap on it. You can see that I put some grease on it, because I was getting a horrible screeching sound when I would come out of my driveway and hit a little bump when it was turned lock to lock. So that's in the front. You can see as I back up here exactly where it's at relative to the front tie rod and all. Here's the hubs that I'm going to put back. It was much easier to get to those things by taking the wheel off, although you might be able to get to them without jacking it up and taking the wheel off. Make sure you use jack stands as well as the jack. And on these lug bolts, I'm going to put some anti-seize. I always do. It just makes them come apart so much easier. High temperature anti-seize. And make sure, this is a good hint for any kind of lug bolts. Tighten them up in sequence, you know, one and then the other opposite. And always torque them. Torque them to the manufacturer's spec. I looked online and I believe that these are supposed to be torqued at 110, and that's where I'm going to torque them to. Boy, I'll tell you, don't use an impact wrench and just go down, bear down all the way. Maybe use it to get them snug, but then torque them to the proper torque value.